Good morning. Thank you all for being here on what I think is a very exciting morning to talk about two outstanding individuals. Of course, I'm talking about the spouses of the people who are taking their oath today. I'm going to segment this. I'll start with Mr. Wheeler-Smith first, and then I'll move over to Ms. Kim, and I'll segment them in that way. Thank all of you for being here, because I know, as they know, in their journey in life, the different impediments in their way, the different obstacles, and the different achievements. They could not have done it without family and friends and community. So thank you for being here. A few words about Derrick Wheeler-Smith, and I'm truly humbled to introduce. I'm going to call you Derrick now. I said Wheeler-Smith a few times. I'm going to call him Derrick now. I'm humbled to introduce Derrick because even though I have a few years on him, just a few, I continue to believe that even if you have a few years on someone, you could learn from someone younger than you. Mentorship and learning from another human being is not based on chronology. Sometimes it's based on life experiences. And based on his life experiences is why I say I'm humbled to introduce Derrick. Now, for those that don't know him, he's dedicated his life to uplifting and empowering the voices of the historically marginalized. Now, why he does it, I don't know. I don't know. Comes from good stock or something, but that's how he has chosen to give his most precious commodity, which is his time, his skill, his resources, his personality. He's the former director of Zero Youth Detention at Seattle King County Public Health, and that's exactly where we poached him from. He oversees the implementation of the Zero Youth Detention Roadmap and the development of a regional public safety plan to address gun violence. He's also a counselor, a teacher, a mentor, and a coach with deep roots in our community. Quite candidly, who better to lead the city department that enforces civil rights laws against illegal discrimination in employment and housing, and run our Race and Social Justice Initiative, a citywide effort to end institutional racism here in our local government and in our city. Some personal accomplishments or attributes. He brought a sense of stability to the department, filling the 35% employee office vacancy rate that was there when he joined the office. Quite candidly, I looked at this office and I said, we have some great, phenomenal employees. And I use the word sub-optimized. It says, are we sub-optimized? Not just your department, but all the departments. Our administration, our city. Are we sub-optimized? And what does optimization look like? That's the discussion Derrick and I had. In the time Derrick served as director, he's worked with his committed team to build the skills and foster an office culture needed to tackle the challenges ahead. And when we talk about office culture, this is tough stuff. Culture has to do with what you will accept and what you will not accept, what the norming becomes. You become the culture that you tolerate, and most importantly, you model the behavior you want to see in the culture as a leader. He managed to clear the considerable and long-standing civil rights investigations backlog, a critical office function with meaningful impact. He worked with our office, our administration, and our city council so the city could codify our Race and Social Justice Initiative into city law. His personal attributes, he leads from a place of grace and humility and a commitment to serving others. He takes a consensus-building approach and strives to find a third way when managing agreements. He shows up for work every day with a outstanding attitude and commitment and dedication to connect community to government to advance equity and justice. He's wise beyond his years. That's why he lost his hair, because he's a wise man. That wasn't in my notes, by the way. You can always tell when I started ad-libbing stuff, right? And I call him D. I'm calling you Derrick now. I think I've been calling you D for as long as I've known you, and I see your family here, making sure. And Mark's saying, Bruce, stay on script. Okay, Mark, I'm going to stay on script. He's insightful, approachable thought partner who looks to reframe challenges by offering constructive solutions through a positive lens. I'm thankful that Derrick accepted the opportunity to lead. And before we move to the oath of office and describe the ceremonial pin that will be affixed by his wife, Stephanie Wheeler-Smith, as I close, point of personal privilege. So Stephanie Wheeler-Smith is has a strong resume in her own right. And for those that don't know, I trusted them with my most precious commodity, which is my wife's and I's daughter. And to say she was a handful would probably be an understatement. But she started in the 5 position and won multiple state championships as a basketball player, which allowed her to get a basketball scholarship and a scholarship to get a master's degree, where she continues to work in athletics for the University of Washington. During her most formative years in high school, and for those, I hope my daughter doesn't watch this on Channel 21, by the way. Dad, you put me out on Front Street, Pops. I saw them love my daughter like they love their own daughters. Patience, pushing, discipline, and quite frankly, modeling the behavior that we wanted to instill. And those were some tough times, but some glorious times. And so this power couple together, fused together, we are fortunate to have this kind of couple doing work for the city. And when I talk about One Seattle, talking about pulling out the greatness in everyone, the brilliance in everyone, that's what we have leading one of our most critical departments in the city. Mike was dropped, and I'm honored to have you as part of our cabinet. Thank you very much. So now let's have our interim city clerk, Ann Frantilla, come up, and we're going to do the ceremonial pin by Ms. Stephanie Wheeler-Smith. And kids could join if they don't hog all the glory with the camera and let Pops get a little action.
Good morning. It's my honor to administer your oath. Please raise your right hand. I, Derrick D. Wheeler-Smith,
I, Derrick D. Wheeler-Smith,
swear or affirm
swear
that I possess all of the qualifications
that I possess all of the qualifications
prescribed in the city charter
prescribed in the city charter
and the Seattle Municipal Code
and the Seattle Municipal Code
for the position of the Director of the Office of Civil Rights,
for the position of the Director of the Office for Civil Rights,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Washington,
the Constitution of the State of Washington,
and the Charter and ordinances
and the Charter and ordinances
of the City of Seattle,
of the City of Seattle,
and that I will faithfully conduct myself
and that I will faithfully conduct myself
as the Director of the Office for Civil Rights.
as the Director of the Office for Civil Rights.
Congratulations.
When Derrick addresses us, usually there's a bowl that's going to be passed around for some donations. So get ready. Where's the bowl?
And we certainly prefer the kind that folds. So. This morning, I stand on the shoulders of strong, committed visionaries and ancestors who toiled and struggled, who pioneered, who fought, and who even died, that I could be able to stand before you in this moment. 50 years ago, my grandfather died on the Wilton plantation, actually saving the life of a cattle whose life was thought to have more value than his. And it was only 55 years ago that MLK was assassinated. Before MLK was assassinated, he was intently focused on creative maladjustment, where people basically would refuse to normalize inequity and work continuously to expose injustice. Expose injustice so that we can emerge from the bleak and desolate midnight of man's inhumanity to man into the bright and glittering daybreak of freedom and of justice. Freedom is a constant struggle that requires all of us to commit daily to bridge across difference so that we build systems and structures of belonging for everyone, especially the persecuted and prevented citizens of Seattle. and I'm honored for the confidence of Mayor Harrell to appoint me to this post and to be sworn in today as the director of this great office. I'm grateful for the remarkable staff I get to work with every day, our beloved community, my beautiful family. Marrying my wife, Stephanie, outside of my faith is the greatest decision of my life, and raising my 3 kids, Judah, Jaden, and Jael, is the most important thing that I will ever lead. Nothing like your kids to keep you humble. Judah wasn't feeling well this morning, and so he said, Dad, I'm going to stay home so that I can be ready for my track meet tomorrow. I'm the bridge connecting the past of my grandfather, Leon Peter Flowers, to the future of my son, Judah Wheeler, and my daughters, Jaden and Jael, and I'm certain that I am my ancestors' wildest dream. I'm not self-made, I'm land-made, I'm ancestor-made, I'm family-made, I'm Yahweh-made, and I'm community-made. Abolitionist Theodore Parker once said that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. I believe that that's only true because there are people hanging on the other side actively bending the arc towards justice. May we all be those people. Thank you.